Hello, welcome to my first ever how to mix and surround video. I am far from an expert on the subject, but this will at least get you going in hybrid. In order to make this first ever surround mix for hybrid fun, I've kind of taken out the hard work for you. You don't have to go into the I/O and figure things out. I've already set everything up for you. You will need to go into the I/O and potentially restore from session so your I/O is fresh, the one that I saved, and make sure Apply to All Tabs is clicked. And then once you do that, hopefully it'll all work. You've got a print track I've already created. That's fed by a master, and the master is fed by 4 stems: music, sound effects, ambience, and dialogue, just like everything else that we've talked about in this class. You will need to set it up. Don't forget to put on the loudness meter and any bus limiters you need, and this will let you do the workflow we've discussed in this class. All the tracks are already routed to these stems, and the buses are named, and they're colorized to match the stems. So you're pretty much set up. So what we need to accomplish in this video is some panning, and how to do panning and how to do reverbs in surround. So let's just grab a mono. Let's grab a mono track here, Rick Dialogue. I'm going to solo. You should hear Rick in the background. There's Rick. And panning would be pretty simple. You could just move this little panner around between left, center, right, and then the rear channels, maybe in all channels at once. Pretty simple. The more advanced way and the hipper way and the way you want to do it is click on the little fader icon there next to the output routing. And now we can move the dot again, and you can see the knobs move below, which are showing all the parameters. You can also move the parameters if you want, which is kind of cool. If you'll see right now that front and rear are linked, you can unlink them, which is kind of cool. So only the front's moving and not the rear. And you have the same sort of option here. You can also, so that's kind of cool. And if I bring up a surround panner for a surround track, I'm going to hold shift there. This is for a surround track. Similar thing here. You can see left and right are following. You can unlink them or unlink parts of them. So if you want to do that. Sorry, go back there. There we go. So it's pretty simple. One useful thing to know is when I put it here, it's in the center channel only. Sometimes you want to put it in the center plus the sides, and that's what this divergence thing here is. This when you pan to the center, this pans from all sides to only center, and in the middle is 50-50. This is easier seen on the output meters here. When I play him, you can see right now it's coming out of left, center, right, which is 1, 2, 3. But if I move it to here, it's going to be just left and right. And if I move it to there, it's going to be just center. So this divergence thing is pretty useful. Do note you do have some other divergence knobs down here. This is more advanced features. You probably don't need to mess with it, but this is front to rear divergence and rear to front divergence and front to front. So anyway, fancy stuff. I probably wouldn't mess with those the first time out, but this is super useful. You're going to want to put some sound effects in the subs and make them big and boomy and fun. That's the LFE knob, low frequency enhancement, so that's pretty cool. So there's your basic panning. Automation's kind of important. You're going to want to do some automated panning, fly the spaceship across, that kind of thing. Maybe you want to do cool circles. It's really simple. Find the track we're on. We're on Rick Dialogue. I got to go find Rick Dialogue. Arm the track. We're going to go to touch here and start moving it around. Whoa, I'm panning. Oh my gosh, that's exciting. And play back, and I'm panning. You may want to edit that. Editing's pretty simple. Here we go, Rick Dialogue. Open up the automation pane, and you can pick which parameter you want to edit, or you can do all pans at once, which is pretty cool, and go in and edit and draw using the pencil tool and all that. So that's your basic panning and surround sound. Should be a lot of fun. Should be super creative. We do want to work with reverbs as well. Reverbs are interesting because you can pan something up the center and have reverb come out of the rear or that sort of thing. In case I forgot, I can't remember, but there are some basic norms with panning, which you do need to follow in the assignment. Music is traditionally in the left and right channels only. Of course, you can be creative if you want, but that's kind of what the assignment's asking you to do. Ambiances, if you have a stereo ambience, you may want to pan them like this so they're on the left and right. Of course, if they're layered, you may want to have some in front and rear so you can get some cool stereo effects. And dialogue, you're going to want to have it straight up the middle with divergence off, so it's really just coming out of the center channel. So that's the norm. Of course, you can do creative things beyond that. What to do with reverb on the dialogue? Obviously, go use a plugin like Altiverb and set them up, so multiple reverbs set up for multiple scenes with multiple sounds. You may want that reverb coming out of the center channel on the dialogue, or you may want it surrounding you, depending on what you want to do. Now, how to do that? Well, let's just create a reverb. It's the same as we've learned elsewhere in this class. I'm going to make a new, and I like mono-sourced reverbs. It's just simpler, so I'm just going to do mono, and I'm going to make an aux input. And notice that's coming out of my stereo output right now, so that's not going to help us. So let's put it out of let's bus it to our mix, and now it's surround. I'm going to solo save it, hold Command down, hit S. And I need to pick a surround reverb. Now, you're going to probably want to use Altiverb because it's wicked cool for post-production. I have Altiverb, but not the surround version, so I can't do it here at home, but I can pick up my Revibe Mono 5.1, boom. And now you can see its output automatically went surround. Now to source this, we forgot that part of the step. So bus, pick a mono bus because I sourced the track with mono input. So bus 13, I'm going to turn that on for the moment, just make it simple. And I'm going to rename that my reverb, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's a room, maybe it's a inside of a spaceship. I don't know. Whatever you're trying to do in your post-production, I'm going to call it Verb 1. And I'm going to source my track with Verb 1. And now we should have surround reverb. Note there is no surround panner. I still got more to learn about that in Pro Tools, but aux returns don't seem to have a surround panner. Does look like you can tweak that here a little bit. You do have some surround panning here in Altiverb, in Reverb. I don't know about Altiverb. But anyway, that's your basic tutorial on getting surround going. Obviously, all the other assignments are parts of the assignments that you've experienced before, where you get your loudness right, and you print in, you export, and all that are also required with this assignment. But that's get you going. All right, enjoy, have fun.